Hey, good morning. So today's a milestone day. We're going to be taking the boat, which is finally complete, and taking it to the harbor. So join us for a little trailer ride and a day of launching. And all that good stuff. I don't normally store my sails on the floor of my garage, but in this case I had to for a little while. Hopefully there's no mice in here. That would really suck. I think I'm okay though. This wasn't on the floor long enough. Yeah, for some reason seeing a truck full of sails in the back seat just kind of makes me happy. And of course, let's not forget to bring the boom, because forgetting the boom would be terrible. Yes, I know I have too many boats. Is that really a problem? It's not really a problem. That's a problem. Tire pressure on the trailer and the truck. Check. Lights, connections, chains, torsion bars. Check. Okay, yeah, it's not much, but just a little bit of extra insurance. Okay, so the chains are in place. Everything's strapped down. Boom is strapped down, ladder's strapped down, boat is strapped down. Got a twist in the lines so they don't shake, rattle, and roll too badly. Everything on deck is secure, except for some of the standing rigging here, which is a little bit flappy, but it's usually not a problem. It doesn't move too much in the wind, it just sits there. And oh, what's that? You're by yourself, but you need to check your trailer brakes? And nobody's around? Maybe you have no friends? So, here's the solution. Just take something, in this case I have this wheel wedge, and you just kind of wedge it into the brake. You do this one-handed. There we go. So now I'm applying the brake. And we can look. Brakes are applied. There's the light. 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 And light. Turning signals are easy, just turn them on, but the brakes are always a challenge. So there you go. That's how to do a trailer brake check when you're by yourself. And there we have a 2-ton jack, just in case we get a flat tire. I don't need to lift the whole trailer, just one side of the axle. Those kind of work really, really well. There's also a bottle jack behind that garbage can if necessary, and an axle stand, which I will put underneath the back of the trailer when it's not connected. Got a wheel chock here, and some tools for taking off tires in the event of a flat. so that's the only leak. Let's take care of that. Whatever, so the idea is here, we gotta loosen off this gland nut. So roll that back a little bit. We can tighten this one. Just a touch till it stops dripping. Like that. When it runs, you want to see just like one drip every second or so. So we'll monitor that. Just a little bit more. I'm gonna have to repack this thing eventually, I think, because I've been doing this for 10 years. Now we take this nut and we tighten it against the gland nut. Torque it. Done. Leak solved.
And of course, with a thunderstorm building and coming our way, we quickly got to work raising the mast. And over the course of 15 years, I've gotten pretty good at raising the mast. The routine and procedure of arranging the standing rigging and making sure everything is clear, and everyone helping knows what their job is. However, this year wasn't quite as smooth. There's a tang at the top of the mast, connected to the forestay, which had been flipped up into the wrong position. Because of this, no matter what I did, the forestay was too short to connect the two sections of turnbuckle together. I was able to see what the problem was at the top of the mast. And unfortunately, there was only one thing we could do about it. Drop the mast, correct the issue, and raise it again. The threat of a thunderstorm, while manipulating a 34-foot lightning rod, certainly adds tension and speed to the operation.
And so the mast is up. If I had the choice to be on a boat in a thunderstorm and be in my truck during a thunderstorm, I think I'm going to pick the truck. As much as I trust the lightning protection on the boat is in order. It's all theoretical and I don't want to test the theory. Yeah, this little storm had quite a bit of outflow, and during the heat of that, I could see my mast was just bouncing around like crazy, so I really hope that the boat's not bouncing off that concrete pier either.
This kind of sucks now. The storm has passed and now there's just leftover rain. And there's another big thing coming on the radar. And I'm starting to think that maybe I don't want to stay here while all this is happening. And I didn't bring a raincoat. The crappy thing is, the boat is still sitting at the crane dock. I can't leave it there. So I'm gonna have to get wet again and move the boat over to my slip without a raincoat. Damn it, why didn't I bring my raincoat?
Ship. And you know what else? All of that rain has washed the mud off the deck. Hooray! Okay, let's get these inner shrouds connected and then head over to the dock. otherwise it hasn't been the nicest day, that's for sure. But at least it's in the water. The stick is stuck and things are finally settled, so I'm a little happier. See the cockpit scuppers on the CS27, they are plugged, so I'm going to be a nice guy. Go aboard and remove the dead frogs from the scuppers. There we go. There's one on the other side too. Oh yeah, nicely plugged up. There's an inch of water in here. That's why having a strainer on a scupper is not a good idea. There we go. At least it'll drain out now. There's another thunderstorm coming. Again, another one. All right. Part of starting up the boat is making sure that there are no leaks anywhere. So down here is where the seacock for the toilet lives and the transducer, both transducers for the speedometer and depth sounder.